In the abolition segment, those incarcerated and their families will be speaking on the ideas and practices of abolition. Abolition is a commitment to build a world where we do not rely on prisons, police, and a system of violence, and a world without destructive forces like white supremacy, racism, and gender violence. Abolition is about building up communities and different ways of addressing crisis, harm, and suffering. Abolition does not mean an absence of accountability. It means creating real accountability and freedom in our communities. You will hear from Keema, who was incarcerated for 10 years in York Correctional, on why abolition is essential to protecting women.
My name is Keema, and I was incarcerated from the age of 17 to 27. At the age of 17, I was pregnant and sentenced to 20 years, suspended after serving 11 and a half years with 3 years of probation. So I know firsthand, and I have seen firsthand, of physical abuse, mental abuse, and sexual abuse. Could you imagine being 17 and in prison, not only fighting for your freedom, but also fighting not to miscarry and to lose your unborn child? Not because you're stressed out from the reality of prison, but because of the healthcare system within those walls. They could care less if you can't keep your food down for weeks on end. They could care less if you're bleeding when you know that you're not supposed to be. Throughout my pregnancy, I still was put on the bus. If for many that don't know, the court bus is, they transport inmates to the courthouse. And on February 10th, 2009, I was complaining of having labor pains and bleeding. And without being checked, without being seen, I was still put on the bus, handcuffed and shackled, to go to court. And in the holding cell in the back of the court, my water broke. And the judge had to order for me to seek medical attention, not even the prison system. And having my son several hours later, giving birth while I was in prison felt like I was grieving the loss of a child. Not to mention I was handcuffed through my labor, and throughout my stay there, I had to ask to hold my son. That was troubling to me, but because of the way the prison was ran, I was so afraid to keep saying anything because on numerous occasions, I was told by staff to be careful of what I said on the phone because they're listening, to be careful of what I wrote because they were monitoring my mail. There has been times that I was put in solitary confinement because of the things I had said over the phone that they quote, they didn't even write it as anything. They said it was tampering with safety and security, just another way for them to abuse their power. This was another way of them silencing me and use their power, not because they needed to, but they did it just because they could. As they did with cameras, we were told that they were there for the women, but all in reality, those cameras were used and installed to be used against us, just as the mail and the phone systems were, just another way for them to abuse their power. There was a lot of verbal abuse that I endured while being incarcerated, just as walking with my head down, even coming home walking with my head down. There's times where family members would be like, why do you have your head down? Like pick your head up, and I know that it was from being incarcerated. And I knew that if I kept my head down when I walked, that they would leave me alone, that they wouldn't say anything. They didn't have anything to pick with me about. And this, like I said, was another way of them abusing their power, just like with strip searches. Strip searches were also another way at any point in time. At any point in time, you could be told to undress. You're told to undress, open up your mouth, shake your hair out, and to lift your breast, and to turn around, lift your feet so that they could see the soles of your feet, and to quote unquote, bend over so that they can see the pink. Could you imagine being vulnerable to anyone at any time just to see your insides? And this is not something you consent of. This is so sick to me. York has normalized this, and it's disgusting. The things women, and myself included, have seen are unheard of, even down to correctional officers giving women tips on how to commit suicide. For example, I had a friend next door to me pressing a buzzer saying, "I don't feel safe. I feel like killing myself." And the officer replied, "If you're gonna do it right and tie the sheet this way." This is very emotional for me because I had a friend who cried out for help at York and they did nothing to help her. And this was a good friend, Cassandra Baker. This system needs to end, and we need to protect our women, no matter their age, color, crime, or state of wealth. We have to understand that this is not like Orange is the New Black. This is not for laughters or giggles or for society's entertainment. This is real. And due to the sisterhood that I had in there that built me up, I could have honestly been one of the women that committed suicide, but I didn't because of the other women that were in there and that wanted nothing but the best for me. So I'm just saying this to, like I said, I was in there from the age of 17 to 27. So I know a lot of what happens behind those walls. And my heart really do go out for everybody that's in there. And I'm doing this today because I promised them that they will have a voice once I left. So thank you.
Thank you for listening.